So one of the things we've got is the Ultra Gauge. Now this plugs into the OBD2 diagnostics port that you find below the steering wheel. This reads out various engine parameters from the car's onboard computer systems, some of which are represented on the dashboard, but a lot of which are not. So what we've got in here is shift position. This tells you which gear the gearbox is in. Fuel level in litres. This gives you a more exact count on your amount of fuel remaining. Whether the torque converter in the automatic gearbox is locked or not. Kilometers per hour, adjusted for tyre size. Average litres per 100 kilometers there. That is reading 17.3. That's quite a bit higher than usual because we've been driving on a lot of soft sand for the past couple of days. And I specifically reset that before we got to the difficult part, so that average skews a bit high. Alternator percentage. Now the engine's not running and that's indicating 33%. I think you get a bit of a garbage figure in that case, but that will tell you how hard you're working the alternator, and you can see when your charging is limited by the alternator's output power. Engine degrees Celsius. The meter on the dashboard of a modern car is actually kind of fake. It just pops into the middle for like a 20-degree range, so you don't really see an overheating problem until it's already happened, but with an actual number for the temperature you can see it straight away. And finally, the very important figure here, at that level of fuel and that many litres per 100k, how many k have you got until the tank's empty? We've got the whole thing rigged for charging a lot of 5-volt stuff. So there's a Pololu DC to DC converter up in the dashboard which provides 5 volts at 7 amps, and between that there's 2 USB-C cables on the passenger side here, one for the passenger side phone and one for any other random accessories like GoPro battery chargers, power banks, whatever floating around down there. In the glove box there is a micro USB cable for charging things. Now this is the secret weapon for keeping the drill and impact driver charged. This is the Milwaukee compact charger and power source, and it will turn your drill batteries into the world's most expensive power bank. It gives you 5-volt USB out and also 12-volt DC out. But the part of this we really bought it for is it can take USB charging in. So that drill and impact driver are USB charged. If you are going to get one of these, just be careful. There are 2 versions of it, and one of them only has the power output side and not the charging side. The less expensive one of these does not charge the battery. In addition to that, if you get in under there, the dash cam is also powered off this same 5-volt USB source. And that cable runs around there, being careful to avoid the airbag down through the trim. Driver's side also has a USB port, but it's a right angle connector to keep it more out of the way. Importantly, this is sleeved so the cable doesn't disintegrate in the sun. In addition to this, there's also 2 more spare USB ports down here. And then one last USB port is connected to an Amazon Echo Dot. Now, why might we have that in the car? The car has 4G powering Wi-Fi all the time, so it has an internet connection. And secondly, what it's in there for, plugged into the radio, is you can connect your phone to it via Bluetooth and Bluetooth music to the radio. Why don't I just use a Bluetooth receiver adapter on the radio? I've literally bought 4 or 5 of them and all of them are terrible. Issues range from it making loud clicking, popping and banging sounds when you connect or disconnect, having ridiculously annoying noises when it starts up or connects or disconnects or whatever, the sound quality just being plain garbage. The other problem I've had is the last lot I got that did have decent sound quality don't do pairing, so literally anyone could connect their phone to it. So the Amazon Echo Dot actually does a pretty good job of this. To mitigate Amazon spying, the microphones are muted and it's buried in the dashboard. So yeah, phone holder on the driver's side, that uses a stick down RAM mount. I haven't been entirely pleased with this. On a couple of really hot days, we've actually had that peel up from the dashboard. We had to move that to this one here, which mounts the ICOM 7100 head end. I've swapped out that one for the one with the RAM adder ball adapter on the side of it. So you've got the adder ball adapter on the side of it, which is basically a double adapter for RAM mounts. But I think ultimately I'm going to use one of the screw-on plates like the one down here, and I'm just going to bolt it on to this panel here. Similarly, this one is a stick-on, but I've never had any problems with this down here because it doesn't get hot down here. That one just has the short ball link to another X-Grip phone mount. So you just squeeze that like that, drop the phone in, and it clamps onto the phone. Now that's pretty secure. That has never fallen out, even on the most ridiculous of tracks. This is of course the large one, and it fits a Pixel 4 XL with an OtterBox Defender case. There is a smaller one for smaller phones. So the Kodan 9323 head, couldn't actually find something that would bolt up to it, so it's actually got a sticky mount on the back of it. I'm not 100% pleased with that because it still can wobble a bit, but that goes down to a plate that's bolted onto the ICOM 7100. Similarly is bolted onto there, and the plate which that is actually a camera mounting plate, which has a big flat plate, and it's screwed into the tripod socket on the bottom of the 7100's head unit. The thing with RAM mounts is you go through the entire catalog and there's basically a ball mount that goes on anything you could imagine, and then you just pick your ball mount, pick your arm, and pick what you want to mount on it. Lastly, I think it's in here. Normally the adder ball mount sits on this side, to put that in here. And what does this fit, you may ask? The eTrex. Lastly, on the interior fit out, we have fitted a reversing camera because this did not come stock with one. So this reversing mirror clips over the normal mirror. It has a little LCD screen in it behind the darkened glass that then displays the image for the reversing camera when it's in reverse. When it's not in reverse, the image turns off and it's just a mirror. So the reversing camera is just mounted here on the top of the number plate bracket on the swing out spare tire mount. This does mean it's off to one side and you do have to mentally shift the lines a little, but really you don't want to be getting that close to anything anyway without having directly observed it. So it's not really a problem. So yes, you are very clever to point out that if you have the spare tire carriers swung out, the reversing camera actually gives you a view off to the side of the vehicle, but never ever move the vehicle with these swung out because they will swing in and out and they will break the shock mounts on the swing out arms. Now also, there is a fire extinguisher bolted down to this plate here. In the event that the car is catching on fire, especially when you're in a remote area, you want to be able to get to that quickly to put the fire out before it damages too much of the car, because it might even be drivable afterwards if you put the fire out quickly enough. If you haven't already done so, replace those with their LED equivalent. It's probably the best $2 we've ever spent because they're now like 5 times brighter and significantly whiter than the awful yellow you get out of the dim old interior light bulbs. Join us next time to see the radio gear, which warrants a video all of its own. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and see you then.